Hello, welcome to Spy Money. Has the market got you down? Do you feel beat? Boy, do I ever. The market has done complete opposite of about everything I thought it was going to do, and it's sickening. Hello, Robert. And looking at it today, when we opened up today, let me go back to 15-minute. When we opened up, we are actually right there. So at 9:30 this morning, we actually let's go to a 5-minute chart. It shows it even better. If we go to a 5-minute chart, everything that we trade on was working perfectly. We come into the morning, we open at right here, and I always wait 15 minutes before I hopped in. Yeah, like a whipped dog, Josh. That's the way I feel. It got the best of me today. Actually, it has for the last week or two. But we open up, and I watch it. I don't jump in. And then we come in, and at 9:15, it starts coming down, and it's actually closed 2 candles below the 15. That's what I like to see. And it does that, so we get in. I did some day trading. So I got in some scalps, and I was going to go ahead and scalp it all day. And it comes down, and it has a little pullback right here. And when we're looking at on the 1 minute, let's see, let's see here, 9:30. When you're looking at the 1 minute, it looks perfect. It comes down, touches right here. It doesn't touch the fib, which is what I was looking for. And if I add a study, let's see here. If I add the VWAP in there, just so you can see it, because I trade on the VWAP. And if you look at actually, let me change those colors. Thought I had, actually, let's see, if I go into, I should have it set up, load style charting, should be right there. There it is. So when I go in here, the VWAP is the dotted line, okay? So when I come in, it drops down and it starts going below the VWAP, and I thought, well, here we go. So, we're going to sell off. I got in SPY puts right in here, and I also got in Microsoft puts, got an AMD puts. So those 3 is what I was trading. So when you watch all 3, the other 2 kept showing off and going down, and I was up quite a bit on all of them. Did actually really well, but I didn't sell it. I did not follow my rules. Hey, Clint. I did not follow my rules. My rules is when it comes down and gets close to the VWAP, you just sell it and get rid of it. And then if you want, you can always hop back in it. And I did not do that. If I would have, I'd have been a happy camper today, because I could have got back in calls when it closed above here and then rode the calls up. So in my mind, we have a $500 billion or $500 billion going to be pumped in the market tomorrow. So I thought it would sell off all day today, and then it would rally toward the end of the day. I would jump in some calls and then go ahead and go in. Well, that was my plan. Well, my plan backfired. So I held it, and then all of a sudden you get up here, and then all of a sudden you're broke even. And you're thinking, well, it's going to pull back. So it pulls back right here. So whenever I open this up, it starts pulling back, and you say, well, here we go. We're fine. So I've got this resistance line. Everything's going to be fine. It comes down, and all of a sudden it just takes off. And then you're in the hole. So you're thinking, well, it'll probably come right up here and hit this fib line and then bounce down. So it comes up, it's hitting the VWAP, and I'm thinking it's going to hit the VWAP and it's going to pull back. Well, I played that game all day, and look where we are right now. So by Microsoft, I ended up selling. I sold it for like a 2% loss, and I was up a little over 50% on it at one time. So that really sucks. I went ahead and swung my SPY, and the reason I did, I'll show you in a minute. I swung my SPY, which is probably going to be a stupid thing to do, but I did. I swung my AMD too. And the reason I did is if we go back and look at a 1-hour chart, you can see a perfect cup. So I'm hoping the handle will be here. Now, think about this. We have the worst economy we've ever had in my lifetime. I mean, the worst. There is no economy worse than what we have now, ever. I think we're worse than the Great Depression right now. But we have monopoly money, keeps on putting into the market. Found out today, I think it was someone posted in our Discord group, and if you're not in it, it would actually help you because we get so much information in there. Breaking: U.S. national debt tops $24 trillion for the first time ever, an increase of $1 trillion in less than 6 months. Well, I know where 1.5 trillion has, or actually, I guess it'd be a little over $2 trillion have went so far. I can show you exactly. So it went in the market starting right here, back in the middle of March is when it started, to now. So we had a half a trillion, half a trillion, half a trillion. So we had 1.5 trillion before it even got to the bottom. And then since then, they have dumped another trillion into it. So that's $2.5 trillion they've dumped into it already. Tomorrow, which actually I kind of think was part of today, when they saw the market dropping off last night, I think the government just said, hey, let's just go ahead and start pumping it in a day early. So by doing that, so right here is probably another $500 billion just to get the market to where it is now. And then they're supposed to pump in more tomorrow. So, maybe this was at $250 billion, and then tomorrow will be another $250 billion. Who knows? And so right now, we're $3 trillion has been pumped into the market to make the market look better than what it really is, because Trump wants reelected. Trump is on my nerves. I don't know if I'm going to vote for him. I was initially, but I don't think I will anymore. Not because of this, but because of the way he's handled some things that I just do not approve of. So I don't know where I'm going to be with that. But that's political. We're not supposed to talk politics. But right now we are pretty much at $3 trillion sitting right here, and it's done absolutely nothing except wear the options out. So if you're buying options for long, you're having a hard time for the last couple weeks. Everybody's having a hard time. There's some people that are getting really lucky and making big money with it. I'm not one of them. So, I just don't understand how we can fight these kind of moves. It seems like when I'm getting in a move, I'm playing the charts, and the charts are saying one thing. You get in it, and then all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, it just kind of takes off on you. So it's just really hard. I don't mean to sound so negative, but it's just really hard trading right now. People are getting a little bit annoyed, and understandable. I am too. But right now, this chart says cup and handle. There's a cup, and there's going to be the handle pulling back. Now, where will this pull back? Don't know for sure. You can make it a little bit bigger so I can see it better. Don't know for sure, but that is a typical cup and handle right here. And if it does that, then we could actually pull back, but I don't know what it's going to do, because I don't know if this is the $500 billion or not. So it depends on what they're going to do. If we look at the chart right now, it's staying right across the top of that. This is the 1 minute chart. So we're staying right around the 74 or 2740, and I just don't know if it's going to drop or go up. I just have no clue. It is very, very disappointing in what has been going on, because I'm used to reading the charts real well, following the charts, making a lot of money, and the last 2 weeks have just kicked my butt. So should you buy calls and just ride it out? Well, if you look at this chart, that's what it says. It says calls all the way. But now if you had bought calls here and held them to here, you wouldn't have made that much money, because this right here would have destroyed your premiums. So the way they're doing the market is just not working good. Now let's talk about this. We'll call it 3,400, and we'll call this one 2,100. So it's pretty close. So if this is 2,100 and that's 3,400, then that's going to be, what is that, 1,300 points, okay? So if we take from here, that's 1,300, okay, there to here, that is roughly just under 600 points. So for numbers, let's call it 600 points. So actually, I guess it would be if you come up to the top. So it's about 600 points. So if we've got, what did we say it was? 21 and 34, 1,300 points, and then this was 600. So we are almost halfway back to where we were, and our economy is hurting. I don't get it. And some people say it's priced in. Well, I understand some things are priced in, but you can't price in all the people that are supposedly dying. If that is true, if the numbers and everything are accurate, there's a lot of people dying. There's more cases than ever. My town, the whole state of South Carolina, yesterday at 5 o'clock said you're not allowed to leave the house. It said stay home unless it's a necessity, which means going to the grocery store. They don't want you to leave. So our whole state is shut down. Now, if our whole state is shut down, and about the only thing that is open right now would be like the banks, grocery stores, gas stations, things like that. Service industry business is open. But if it's not service, you're closed. Office buildings and all that, they're all closed. All the restaurants, everything. The bankruptcies are going to be huge in this market. But it's not showing. But according to what everybody wants to say, is all that is priced in this right here. Well, I just don't believe, I understand that when it started dropping and they blamed it on the coronavirus and things are going, but I just don't believe that the way things are right now with everything being shut down, that we can have this increase there. So that's my opinion. That's not really a rant, but I don't get how we can continue to do this kind of market when you look around and people are barely able to afford food at their table. So call it what you will, but that's that's my thoughts on it. Where do I think ES is going? By the chart, it looks like a cup and handle. But with them going to dump $500 billion in it tomorrow, this is probably going to rage. So I don't know what's going to happen. And then come Monday, we close at 2 o'clock tomorrow. And then on Friday, we're closed. And then Sunday, when we open up, they're supposed to dump another $500 billion in the market. So when they do that, that'll run through Monday. At that point, I don't think there's another one scheduled until June. So if that's been the case, this will probably sell off, is what I'm hoping. And if it does, all that money they pumped into the market did absolutely no good. And then once it starts coming down, they'll probably come in with some different funds. Instead of waiting until June, they'll probably come in and just keep on pumping. Every time they pump $1 trillion in here, our debt just went another $1 trillion up. So if we were, what do we say it was, 24 trillion right now. So when it comes time for another trillion, we're going to be at 25 trillion. It's going to keep on going. America cannot afford this. Trump is trying to keep the economy up just so that he can boast about the economy's doing well. That's the only thing he's got to hold on to. He's forgetting about the American people that are, don't have jobs, So that's where I am with it. We'll go to GC with gold. Gold starts selling off. I like to hear that. With gold coming down, that's going to be good. Usually when gold comes down, ES follows up behind. So with this big old rally in gold, that's kind of where we are in ES right now. So I'm hoping that ES will start following this right here and come down to where we can get rid of some puts and stuff. I've got puts in this as well. I'd like to see gold get back down to the 1485 area. If it would, that would be really good for me. It'd be sweet, actually. So if it would get down to here, but that's going to take a good while of dropping. You're looking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days there. You can usually drop 2 days for every 5. So in a couple of days, we could easily get back down to this area. And then from there, you're looking, probably over the next 2 weeks, you could probably get down to here pretty easy and not be a drastic drop. But then again, this right here could just be a little bit of a pullback and then it's going to take off. But the way it's running across the 15 and the VWAPs and stuff, I think it's actually going to keep on dropping. So gold, I would probably lean more bearish on. ES, it's hard telling. Depends on what the Feds are going to do. Crude oil went up today. And that might be why the market, rallied a lot today. When crude oil goes up, the whole market goes up. So they're actually bringing that up, but it actually come up and it's actually making like a bull pennant right now. So if you do a bull pennant, it's hard to say what will happen. So more than likely, this right here, it'll probably end up coming down, sell off to right here, and then just keep on going back and forth and then take off. It can very easily do another way. Let me show you. could very easily pull this one here and just stay within there. So, and coming out of here, pennants, you never know what's going to happen. That is a bull pennant, meaning that I had a big old flag here, and there's a pennant. It's not a bull flag, but it's a bull pennant. But pennants, you don't really know what it's going to do. It could go either way. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens with it and go from there. And then we have the dollar. The dollar is just kind of consolidated all day. If the market was truly going up the way it was, this dollar should have dropped off out of the just hard, but it never. It just really kind of consolidated all day. So the dollar, I'm not real sure. We need to get out of this consolidation to see where it's going to go. It's going kind of upward. This could actually, if you look at it kind of close, this would actually be a bear flag. Let's see, from here. That's not really there. Let me do it this other way. They don't really come out. So I'll say it could be a bear flag, but it really doesn't play out that way. This would be your pole and that'd be the flag, but I don't really see the flag in there. So on the DXY, I'm not really sure what direction it's going to go. I would think that it would go up because of inflation and so forth. We were in this channel and it dropped out, but that doesn't mean that it can't just spike up and hop back in that channel and go. So on this one right here, I'm not real sure the direction on it. This is too long of a flag right here to call it a bear flag, so I wouldn't call it that. We are staying over this trend right here. We may just consolidate quite a bit. And then go to the Qs. It does the same thing as ES. Strange, right? All different stocks, but it moves the same way. So this one right here, it actually came up through there. This is forming a cup and handle type on it. Another thing, we originally thought it might be a cup and handle here, but it actually kept on going. So this right here would be the top and then come over here to the top, but it actually kept going, so it was not a cup and handle. So we'll just have to wait and see tomorrow. By looking at it, it looks like it's going to be bullish, just based on the 1 hour chart, but we'll have to see. I mean, this thing has just kept on going up through there. And if we look at a daily, the daily is actually showing that it's closing above the 15, so it's actually showing a bullish way about it. But it depends on what they do with the news and everything. And it seems like magical today. We had all this great news, and then when Bernie dropped out of the race, then it took off. Well, Bernie dropping out of the race, I really don't see how that would make it go up, but it does. You got TLT start dropping today. I'm glad that I did not get in calls. I was actually going to think about buying them last Friday, and because I thought it would keep on going. I wish I'd got in some puts. That would have been some pretty good money there, but I didn't. Who would have thought? Then we got VIX. VIX is at the lowest it's been forever, since back in the first week in March. So VIX has actually pulled back a lot, and it just keeps on going. As the market goes up, this will keep on pulling back. And it dropped. It didn't really drop that much today compared to yesterday, but it did drop. 44 down to something like 1-2 points down. That's not a whole lot really. Then we go up to our stocks today. Apple. Apple looked like it was going to sell off today too, right there. I know some people got in Apple puts today, and then it just took off. So Apple was not one to mess with today. And then as far as puts, AMD pulled back and it just took off. Again, I was following the 5-minute chart on this, the 5-minute and 1 minute, and when it opened up, it started coming down, and that's when I got in it, and then all of a sudden it just took off and never come back. So it just kept on going. Maybe we need to follow the 1 hour chart to where we can see where it's going more long term, instead of trying to, when we day trade, maybe we just need to follow 1 hour. So you have TLT put still almost green. Good job, Clint. Amazon just took off, and they had like bad news today. There's the federal investigation because they have coronavirus people working in there and handling all the packages and everything, and now the feds are coming in and going over it. So if that's true, which the news is supposed to be true, why did this rage? This should have sold off. That bad news, this should have dropped. I'm not in that game, but just based on what the news is, that should have dropped out. And then you have BA. BA sold off Tuesday, yesterday, and then today it looks like it's trying to sell off again. It looks like the market is actually trying to sell off, but you got monopoly money in there. This looks like it's going to continue to be bearish. If we go to Disney, wow, what just happened? I just got some news on that too. Disney shares rise 4% as Disney Plus subscriptions top 50 million subscriptions. That is huge. Too bad I wasn't in it, and it's just climbing. Look at that, boys. It's still climbing. So they announced that they got 50 million subscriptions, and it took off. Now this right here is called trading. You expect this to happen, but you don't expect it to happen with no news. When you have news like that, you expect it. So whoever's in calls on Disney should be smiling right now. Actually, I think I've got Disney calls. Let's see here. Nope, I used to. I don't now. I wish I still did. Look at that, 109. It ain't been that forever. Let's go back to the 1 hour chart, see where it hasn't been there since back in first week of March. So whoever's in Disney is going to be loving that. You have 35 calls, long call, good. So Clint and Billy going to be smiling on those Disney. And if you go to Microsoft, Microsoft appears to me like it's going to sell off, and that's why I got in it in puts today. Everything looked bearish to me. I ended up selling at the close. I lost like 2% on it, but I didn't want to hold it overnight because I didn't really trust the market to know where it was going to go. But I would say this is probably going to drop off. It's under the VWAP too, so I'd say that will. Yep, we missed it, Josh. I thought I had Disney. I guess I sold them. Whoever's in them just made a bunch of money. Then we go into this one, NVIDIA. NVIDIA pretty much ran up all day too, so it's hard to say what's going to happen with that. Yeah, don't mess with Mickey Mouse, guys. Mickey's he's gonna have a hot date this week. He's gonna have plenty of money. Roku just consolidating across. I'd stay out of that one right now. And SPY, ES, same thing, but it looks like it's going to probably sell off. I'd like to see it sell off. Target, I don't know what happened there, but let's see if that is. That's just the market makers playing around. So Target was actually rallying pretty hard today, and I thought it was actually going to do a lot better, but it didn't pull them back. This is all monopoly money. Let's see. Then we got Tesla. It looked like Tesla was going to sell off all day today. It just stayed in this pyramid all day, or pennant all day. And I just kept thinking it was going to sell off hard. And as soon as it would start moving, then it would come up. And it just held tight all the way across and consolidated all day. I'm not sure what to do on Tesla right now. Uber's the cup and handle. It's actually dropping off here. Long term, I'd say Uber's probably going to be good, but I'd be afraid to do anything that is long term. Mickey taking many out. Yes, ma'am, they are. You got Visa and MasterCard, and actually I'll pull up MasterCard next, but the credit sales, everybody's using credit cards now because they don't have any cash. So Visa and MasterCard are going up. So long term, I'd say you're probably fine on calls. Then we have Walmart. Walmart sold off all day. They had some news come out, and I cannot remember what that news. Oh, it was someone sued them because of the coronavirus. They died, and I don't know if the parents made them work or what exactly happened, but I do know that Walmart got sued. So that's probably a lot of this right here. Because it sold off, but yet the market went up. Now it's doing the opposite of the market. When we were in it, it was doing the same as the market. So we can't win on it sometimes. And MasterCard was that MA, wasn't it? Yeah. MA, it started rallying up today as well. Most everything rallied up. And so just have to wait to see what happens tomorrow. I'd really like to see, yeah, the Walmart puts were good. I didn't get in it, and I kept hesitating. The spread was so far apart, so I backed out of it. It was like a 10% spread. And 10% is way too much. So if it's a dollar ask, it's going to be 90 cents bid. And I just wasn't willing to go into a contract that far apart. So we'll go back to ES, see what's on there again. And with the ES, it looks like it's still just running straight across. I'd love to see that thing drop like 200 points or something overnight and maybe all day tomorrow. But I don't think it will. Unless this right here was Fed money that we had the last 2 days. That's the problem. They say when they're going to pump it in, but then they don't stick to that schedule. And honestly, that could easily be $500 billion right there. Could easily. There's not much volume in it. It's just kind of flat, but it kept going up. You had a little bit of volume here on the sell, and then flat all day, and then a lot of volume here at the end, just trying to push it up to get that good old green day for the government, so they can brag about having a green day. But when you look at this volume, I mean, it's flat. You don't have this kind of volume or this kind of trading going up with a flat volume. You have more like this one here. You can see this one here. There's a lot of volume in here to make this do that. Right here it's just flat. You're above this line right here if you look at it. You just don't move like that. There's just nothing there. This gets all filled up, full of trading. So we'll have to wait till tomorrow. Watch it tonight, see what happens. By looking at the 15 and stuff, it looks like it's probably going to push on through and keep on going. But we'll just have to wait and see, and hopefully get a nice little pullback on it, and then we can regroup on it. So that's the end of our live stream. I hope this kind of helped you. It's definitely got me kind of puzzled right now what to do. Just as soon as I think I have it figured out, then it changes. So make sure you look at your charts and stuff, and maybe I'm paying too much attention to the news and the surroundings because I'm really right in the middle of it. I think that's probably what's hurt me. I'm looking at that and going on feeling more than I am actually chart. And when you start looking at the news and start looking at the economy in general, what's going on, a lot of times all of that will influence what you do here. And what you need to do is forget about all that and just focus on what this chart is saying, and look at your indicators and stuff, and then just trade it according to that. So it would be nice if we got a huge sell-off next week. I'd love to see it hit down around 2,000 or so. But honestly, I don't think it's going to happen. I think that looking at how far, we're actually almost halfway back from where we started originally, and we did that in a matter of from the 23rd, so I think it was like 20 days or so. So in less than 3 weeks, we're already halfway back. And then dropping from here, it was 219, so we're a month to drop, and we're 2 weeks into halfway back. So, you figure 4 weeks, 2 weeks, and 2 more weeks, and we could easily, we're at 27.39 now, so call it 27, and then that's 34. So you're looking at 700 points. You could easily hit 700 points in 3 days, and then be up above. But yet no one's working. So how does this happen when you don't have a job? And then as far as the reports and so forth, they're talking about how this is going to be long term. I think it's going to be a lot of different presidents before we actually come out of this, and our grandchildren will never pay off the 24 trillion that we are in debt now. That debt is going to crucify us when we go to the grocery store, when we pay our utilities and everything else. You guys don't realize it, but we're hurting in the economy, and you don't know it. The foreclosures are going to start happening. 2008 is going to be a cakewalk compared to what we're going through right now. You just wait and see. So anyway, if you're not in our Discord group, take a look at the link down below. You can get in. We talk about this stuff all day long. We do some charting all day, trying to help each other out, try to encourage each other to make better trades and the call outs and so forth. So maybe that can help you if you're in a pickle yourself. Several of the people in our group are actually doing pretty good, making some money, and some of them are not doing very well. I think most people have their monies tied up and can't do a whole lot right now. So check that out, and please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the chat.